In today's video, I'm going to share with you over 10 DIYs for spring and Easter. Keep watching. Hello. Welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you guys are here today because in this video, I'm going to share with you DIY ideas for Easter and spring. And this is also our last spring video for the year. I don't know where this year is going, but it's going so fast, which means Christmas is on the way and I cannot be more excited. So if you are interested in spring DIYs and Easter DIYs, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video and share with your friends because that really helps the channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe. And if you already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss what's coming down the line. I know you guys are going to be excited. Are you ready to do some spring and Easter DIYs? Let's get started. All right, everyone, for our next Easter DIY, what we're going to do is we're going to put a lantern together. If you've been following the channel, you know that I love to decorate a lantern for any holiday, whether it's Christmas, fall, Halloween, Easter, Thanksgiving, you name it. We put a lantern together to give you options and show you how easy it really is to decorate your home for any celebration. So what I did is I grabbed a terracotta pot at Walmart and then I went ahead and put some foam inside of it, and then I covered the foam with moss. You guys know that the mechanics is very important. So next what I'm going to do is I'm gonna make sure that it's all very well packed and it just looks like our bunny, that is a glittered bunny. He came from one of those door hanging signs from, I don't even remember where, but at this point you can use any bunny, you can use an Easter egg, you can use anything that you want to display on your lantern. Just make sure that you put your bunny inside of it. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop my bunny, and I have to be careful because this is really tall. And I wanna make sure that it's in the middle and that it's kind of facing you. Then I have all of these Easter eggs that I'm going to drop right here without covering the bunny. And sorry if it is too loud, but you know, that's just what we do here. Making sure that those Easter colors really do show in our lantern. Look how cute this is and how easy. You're basically just dropping all of these Easter eggs into our lantern. Hey, that was a good catch. All right, so I'm gonna add that one in the back. Actually, I don't like the way this one looks right here. So I'm gonna move it pretty much to this side. Perfect. All right, so that's going to be the inside of it. As you guys can see, easy as 1, 2, 3. But it would not be a Ramon at Home decorated lantern if it's not, oh my gosh, doesn't want to close. There you go. If it's not decorated on the top. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna put a cute little swag together that is super easy. We're gonna use 2 white flowers. We're gonna use a bow that I already made with the same ribbon that we've been using. And we're gonna use some of the same pink cherry blossoms and then one of these magnolias from Target. These are flowers I already had laying around. Like I said, I really don't want to spend a lot of money unless I have to. And so because I already had all of these things, then I'm gonna go ahead and use them. So I recommend you do that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna fold right here. That's gonna be our core. But I wanna bring up one of these really beautiful dangly flowers to the top. So basically just bend it up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of my beautiful cherry blossoms, and remember the core's right here. You never let go of that because that's where you're going to attach all of your flowers. So I'm gonna attach right there, and then I'm gonna grab one and I'm gonna bring it from the back without letting go. And you want to kind of measure, why? Because remember it has to bend backwards a little bit. Then I'm gonna grab this one right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add a flower to kind of anchor it all together here on the top. And then I'm gonna go up, insert up, going up, another one right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of my trusty zip ties and I'm gonna zip tie all of these together right here. And you wanna make sure that you tie it really tight so it doesn't come crashing down. Zip tying with one hand is kind of difficult, but basically you just pull like this And then what you want to do is you want to cut the excess of your zip tie like that. And at this point, you kind of want to bend your flowers. You want to make sure that you have that beautiful dangly flower that dangs down like this. And then you're going to introduce your bow right here. And with a wire, you just go all the way to the back and attach. And look how easy, you guys. This is literally minutes. There is no science to it. Like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this right here sideways, making sure that it's really tight. Now I'm gonna have to fluff because I'm not seeing. And then I want to give you a trick. I left really long tails because I want to cover the back. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and cover all of that by swirling some of this ribbon like this, and then you bring it forward. I'm gonna spin it around to me so I can attach. Oh, that is cute. What you wanna do is you wanna make sure that you have all of your elements showing. Make sure that you bend them, and that's one thing about silk flowers. You can really bend and get most of your bang for your buck. Like this. And then with this longer tail, what you wanna do is you wanna give it a little loop like this. And then you grab over here and then you tie a cute little knot. So it looks like the wind just tied it on some of the stems like this. And then you want to make sure that you fluff your knot with all of your design looking forward, and you bend some of your flowers like this. Fluff your bow, making sure all of your flowers are showing. And just like that, you have yourself a beautifully designed and decorated lantern for Easter. What do you think? All right, you guys, so I figure I show you what the end result of the lantern is. And I just love to see the glitter bunny in the grass, and then also the flowers on the top and the beautiful bow just really tie in with all of the eggs that we put inside. And I think it really is the perfect harmony for this server table that I have right here in my dining room. I did have to mention that I forgot to tell you how to add the lilac, but we did add some of the lilac to go with the rest of our arrangements, so they're very cohesive. I cannot wait to read your comments, so let me know, what do you think? All right, everyone, so now that you've seen last year design for a wreath DIY for Easter and spring, I'm gonna share with you a brand new idea on how you can create a gorgeous spring wreath DIY for your front door this season. So I'm gonna start by showing you this cute little plaque. It says, "This chick is ready for Easter," and I just thought it was gorgeous, and it is the perfect color that we're going for a theme this year, which is lavender, pink, and yellow. And I have a wreath form right here. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach, and I'll show you real quick. What I did is I stapled some pipe cleaners right here, and I did dual color so you can see that we're gonna attach on the back. But I just went ahead and did a staple on these pipe cleaners, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna attach it probably right about here. So you want to make sure that you hold it before you attach it, and then you go back there and then you pull really tight, and as you can see, it's not going anywhere. This is the easiest way to attach this guy right here. And once I attach the bottom, I'm gonna attach the top, and then we'll go in there and we'll cut the excess once we are done with our wreath. Also want to mention this wreath form is kind of recycled from projects past. So you'll see some of the glue in here. I encourage you guys to go ahead and recycle your wreaths and your florals, because you can save a whole bunch of money by doing that. All right, so what I have here also is this cute little plaid gingham ribbon. And then also I'm gonna use some of this Easter egg ribbon from last year. And I think you can find this at the dollar store. I'm not quite sure where I got it, but it does look like the dollar store. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna make a cute little bow with this ribbon right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach probably right about here, and I'm gonna start making loops. And I want it to be not too big of a loop. And also I'm gonna do only 4 because I wanna go ahead and introduce some of that gingham ribbon onto my wreath as well. So basically just 4, and that is maybe just enough ribbon to do these 4 plus 2 little tails. And so now what I'll do is I went ahead and introduce this ribbon, and I'm gonna do another longer tail probably right about here to match the other one. I'm gonna pinch it in, and with this ribbon, which is only our accent ribbon, I only want to do maybe 2 loops on the top. And then also what we're going to do is we're gonna cover our wreath hanger with this particular ribbon, so that way it kind of brings it in and it matches on your ribbon perfectly. All right, so once you pinch right here, what you wanna do is go ahead and do another loop right here, making sure that these loops are even. So sometimes you have to go in and readjust just to make sure they are even like this. And since I have some ribbon left, you know what, I'm gonna do a 3rd loop. So there's plenty of this gingham ribbon left like this. Now I'm gonna bring out a trusty wire. I'm always telling you to have the tools at the ready. That way it can save you a lot of time. So now that we have our bow, I'm gonna go ahead and really tightly. And if you've been following the channel, you know that I like to attach my bow where I need it, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna flatten it out to kind of work around it, and then at the end we'll go ahead and fluff. Now that your ribbon is attached, we'll do all of these loops and tails at the end, but I'm gonna go ahead and flatten it out so we can work around it. So now we have our bow, and we also have our little sign right here. It's time to get started with the fun part. I'm telling you, prepping does really come in handy when you are working with these particular ribbons and greeneries. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some green. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, so immediately we'll move over to the other side and we'll insert right here. I have only 5 of these greeneries, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna make sure that I have some on the top, because you don't wanna have a flat wreath on the top. You want it to really be 3-dimensional, so what happens on the left happens on the right. And remember that what goes up must come down. I just heard my door to my studio shut. All right, so there you go. And so now what we're going to do is we're gonna extend this guy over to the plaque. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start over on this side, and I'm going to dip into my glue. I think when I gave this to my grandma, so that's the reason why I'm gluing it, because she loves Easter, so might as well, if I'm already making it, go ahead and give it to my grandma so she can put it on her door. I think she's really gonna like it. All right, so there you go. So now we have our extension, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna introduce yet another greenery. You guys know that I like to use 2 to 3 greeneries. One which is our main greenery, and then this guy right here is going to be our filler greenery. And so basically what you're trying to do with this greens is cover as much as you can from that form, so that way it's not visible. And don't forget to go in your wreath. What happens on the right happens on the left. What goes up must come down, and that's how you're always going to have a very well balanced wreath arrangement, centerpiece. By the way, have you guys seen the lemon wreath and the lemon centerpiece? They are probably some of my favorite DIYs that I've done for spring this year, and we still have some on that theme with the lemons and the black and white striped ribbon. So stay tuned. We're gonna be doing some lanterns and some other really fun projects with lemons to show you guys, well, more ideas on how you can decorate your home for spring and for summer. I'm so excited for spring. I don't know about you, but it's been a cold winter even here in San Diego, and people think that because we live in San Diego we don't get cold, but let me tell you, we get cold just like the rest of y'all. All right, so now that I have all of my greenery, look how cute this is looking. Remember, we're gonna fluff this at the end. This is looking really cute, so it's now time to get started with our florals. And for that, I'm going to bring some of these really pretty pink and peach peonies and roses, and I'm gonna start with them. And remember to always start right here on the top. You wanna start on the top and then expand. Look at that. What happens on the right is gonna happen on the left immediately, and what goes up must come down. Thumbs up if you guys have followed those rules. I really want to see some thumbs up if you guys have followed the rules that I invented. What happens on the left happens on the right, and what goes up must come down. I invented those rules when I was working as a florist, and I was like, how can I keep it balanced all the time? And I would be like, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. And it stuck with me, and ever since, that's all I've done. All right, so now I have these cute little baby roses, but they're too tall, so I'm gonna cut them a little shorter, because I want them to be closer to the form. And remember, when you're working with florals, it's best if you do sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. And what I'm going to do right here, so I have a 1, and I'm gonna put a set of 3. So basically, I'm going to add 2 of these cute little roses together to make a set of 3. So now this one, I'm gonna make a set of 2. I'm gonna open a little open one right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and add another one right here. After we add these rows, we're gonna go ahead and fluff this wreath. Let me show you. Look at that. 2. So 3, 2. I'm going to add a set of 3 over here and then a set of 2. So this is gonna be 1 right here. So 1, 2, and then we'll do another one. And don't be afraid to cut those stems, you guys, to make them look more natural and also to fit your design a little better. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, and then I have a lonely one right here. So I'm gonna add yet another one. How pretty is this? I am loving the way this is looking. So cute. All right, so I'm gonna add this guy right here, like that. So 3, 2, 2, 3. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're gonna fluff this bow. We're gonna give it a little life. And take your time to fluff your bows because that's what really is going to make your wreath look balanced, and it's gonna make it look more expensive than if you don't fluff this bow properly. So I have this tail right here, but I think it's too long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it a little bit shorter so it sticks out like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this guy right here. I'm gonna bring it back up because I want this tail to be up here. So I'm gonna cut right about here. We'll save that for an extra tail. And then for this particular one, what we're going to do is I'm gonna, actually because it's so long, look what I'm gonna do. Remember how I show you how to do the ribbon on the first basket? So if you wanna go ahead and give it a cute little fluff right here, and then pinch right here, right in the corner, and then go ahead and pinch in with your back of your skewer and pinch in the fabric like this. And so that gives you another loop. And for this one, I'm gonna go over this side. Where's my scissors? Right here. I'm gonna cut right here. Look how pretty. And then this guy, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and cut it short. So it's not really, because it's only one, I'm gonna cut it short. If there was multiple, I'd leave them long. But then like that. And then what I'm going to do, because I only have one tail right here and it looks kind of odd, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the rest of this ribbon right here and I'm gonna push it in the exact same spot like this. Just go ahead and push it in. And look at this, now we have 2 tails. Isn't that fun? Like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. That's cute. So cute. All right, so I have, oh my gosh, this dovetail is awful. I can't believe you guys didn't say something. This fabric ribbon is just so hard to cut. All right, perfect. Let's see. Oh yeah, much better, much better. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna save these 2 tails because we're gonna use them in a second. But now what I'm going to add is going to be some of these really pretty lilac that we've been using. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pull out a whole bunch of it and just leave it down there. I think that's gonna be about enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of this lilac because I forgot to tell you about it on the lantern, but I won't here. And this lilac is really what's making everything look so cohesive because it is the same flower all throughout the arrangement, and it just makes it look really pretty and cohesive. So I'm gonna go ahead and add into my glue and add this guy right here. Oh, how gorgeous is that? I absolutely love it. You know what, I have some shorter ones over in here, like this guy that has 2. I'm gonna go ahead and stick it in here, up there on the top. Look at that. I'm gonna come over here, and then I'm gonna add probably 2 over on this side, giving it a curvature. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this video. I am having so much fun sharing with you all of these Easter and spring floral arrangements and DIYs for your home. But we're getting ready to start with a brand new series, and I cannot wait to share with you interior design ideas, decorating DIYs, all to make your home look absolutely gorgeous this spring and summer. And then also for all of y'all who are willing to or wanting to learn a new trade, I'm about to do a series on fresh floral design, and I'm gonna show you all of the tips and the tricks that I have learned throughout the years working as a florist, and I really think you're gonna enjoy it and learn something new. So if you ever wanted to be a flower girl at a flower shop like Eliza Doolittle, this is going to be so much fun for you because I'm gonna show you everything that I know, from the tools to like the tricks, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun. All right, so now I'm gonna add this guy right here. Look how fun. I feel like I need some over on the top because, well, it just looks like it does. All right, so now I'm going to add one here, and make sure that you put it that goes into the foam, and then I'm gonna add another one coming out, and that'll be just it for this wreath. We'll put it on the door. We'll show you what it looks like. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, so for this table setting, I wanted to show you that I got these placemats at Walmart, and I'm gonna put them on the horizontal. Then on top of that, I'm going to add this wicker charger because I really love the texture of wicker for this particular holiday, which is Easter, and also for spring. Then I have a collection of plates. They are white with a gold rim that I use for special occasions. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this white plate. Now I did get at Walmart also this set of napkins, and these are kitchen towels actually, but I'm gonna use it as a napkin on my placemat, and I just love the color. It's that Tiffany blue, and it has an accent of another like Robin's eggs blue, and I just absolutely love it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add these dishes that actually were the china when I was a child. My mother split it in sets of 4 and gave every of her child a set of 4, so I like to use it because it's something special, plus it has that pink and blue that we're going for. Then on top of that, I'm gonna add this cute little plate that is the set of the gold rim plate. And I just thought to add something cute to the placemat, I'm gonna add this tiny little bowl with a little bit of grass and an Easter egg and a complementary color, which is the pink that we're using just for a little touch of Easter. Now for my stemware, I'm gonna go ahead and use a pink water goblet, and I'm gonna use a blue, really pretty blue wine glass, maybe a mimosa glass. And for my flatware, I'm going to go ahead and use this beautiful gold that I've collected through the years. And remember that fork has 4 letters like the word left, so we're gonna put our fork on the left, and spoon and knife have 5 letters like the word right. And always remember to put your knife facing towards the setting, that way it's not on people's way. All right, so that's what our table looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the centerpiece and show you the end result. But now I'm gonna show you my last spring DIY that is going to be a lantern. So the things we're going to need is, I'm gonna use 2 of the same picks with carrots. I'm gonna use 2 white flowers. I'm gonna use a little bit of moss, a little dollop of moss. I'm also gonna be using a stem with white florals, a bolt of ribbon, the same ribbon that we used on the wreath. I'm gonna use a cute little bunny that I attach a cute little butterfly on it, and a zip tie. It's going to be so easy, so let's get started. The very first thing I need to do is open my lantern, and what I wanna do is I wanna create a little nest of moss towards the bottom to cover some of that, and so it looks like our bunny is sitting in the grass. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in Sophia, making sure that her butterfly, I'll fix it in a second, but making sure that she sits on this grass, and also make sure that her butterfly shows on her little ear, because that's the whole point of it. So I'm gonna put it right there, and then I'm going to close my lantern, making sure that I secure it very well. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring all of my elements that I'm gonna be needing for my swag. And you guys have seen me do this before, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this excess of stem because it's very long and it kinda is on the way. So basically what you have is this shorter stem, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to push some of it up so it hangs down on my lantern, as you guys can see. All right, so next what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of these carrot picks or bundles, and I'm gonna put one going up, and then I'm gonna put one going down, as you can see right here. Never letting go of your core. Remember, this is the core. And so now I'm gonna introduce the bigger flower going up, and then my smaller flower going down, and that's what's gonna give it the curvature. So you wanna make sure that you play with this and so all of your elements show, but remember we're gonna fluff it at the end because that's what we always do. And then I'm gonna grab one of these zip ties and I'm gonna zip tie all of this together. And this is how quick and easy it really is to make a statement for spring in your home, and also to let you know your DIYs do not have to be cheesy looking, but they can look cute and expensive without having to spend a whole bunch of money. So I'm gonna make sure that I tie this really tight like this, and I'm gonna cut the excess. So I'm gonna put it down because I wanna grab a bow that I have already pre-made using the exact same ribbon that we used earlier. And so basically just give it a fluff like this, and then I'm gonna open the wire that I used with to tie it, and then I'm gonna put that right here in the middle, and I'm gonna pull really tight like this, and I'm gonna spin it around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach with this wire, I'm gonna attach to my lantern right here, making sure that I attach all of it, and then we're gonna give it a little fluff because you usually have to first attach and then fluff. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying these spring DIYs, and I cannot wait to come back with a brand new batch. Remember, we're uploading brand new videos every Sunday in order to inspire you to create something beautiful. So I'm gonna spin it to me because I wanna see how is Sophia doing in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this longer tail and I'm gonna bring it up here, and I'm gonna give it a little swirl so it looks like it got attached, and then also creates another loop right here. And then this shorter one, I'm going to go ahead and take it to the other side. So there's some ribbon going on each side of our lantern like this. And at this point, what you wanna do is you wanna go ahead and fluff your carrots to make sure that you see most of them. Let me see over on this side. Perfect, like this. And just like that, you have a beautiful, super easy spring DIY for anywhere in your home. What do you guys think? All right, everyone, for this project, what we're going to do is we're gonna decorate a lantern to put on our mantle, and it's going to be matched with a beautiful arrangement I will show you how to do in a minute. However, I wanna talk to you about the inspiration, which is this absolutely gorgeous blue and white ribbon that I found at Hobby Lobby. And it was only $7.99 at 40% off. So it was super affordable and the quality is really good. But if you guys know me, you know that I am obsessed with blue and white, whether it's pottery, dishes, even ribbons and clothing combinations. I just love it. And I love the way this looks with yellow for spring. It really just elevates the look of your design and your decor. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna be using some of this ribbon. I'm gonna use a lantern that came from Shinoda. I'm gonna use some of the green moss that we got from Walmart. I am going to use some of these leftover yellow flowers and forsythia. And I have this ivy that I bought somewhere at a thrift store, I think, but you know, this greenery usually is just filler, so why not? I'm gonna use some of this spray that it is, for your greenery, and I'll show you in a second what we're gonna do with it. I'm gonna use the bunny that we used, that we found at Marshall's, and she was only $7.99. How sweet is she? I just love her. I'm gonna use 2 white hydrangeas, and then also 3 of the Easter eggs that we put on picks that I just show you how to put together. All right, so let me get all of this situated because it's kind of a mess right now, and I'll be right back. Keep watching. All right, so we're gonna get started by decorating the centerpiece inside of our lantern. And to do that, I'm gonna get one of these clear little plates that are from the dollar store that comes in packs of 6. And I just like to use them as bases. And then also a piece of good foam because we're gonna be poking flowers into it. I'm going to go ahead and just put some glue in it to make sure that it stays on our little plate. That hot glue gun is hot, let me just tell you. All right, so I'm gonna press down onto the little plate to make sure that it just hangs on to it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this moss, and I just love this moss, you guys, and we're just gonna do this to cover the mechanics like this. And this is only about $6 at Walmart, and you get so much moss. Remember, we used it last week on our big lantern with a big bunny, which, by the way, so many of you guys told me that you actually went to Marshall's and bought that bunny. I love it. I am crazy over it because it's so cute and so representative of Easter. So basically what we're going to do, let me remove this guy out of here so you guys can see. We're gonna go ahead and cover this little dish and cover the foam. And I'm going to go ahead and put my bunny right here, maybe facing sideways. I have named her Sophia, like Sophia Loren. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this white flower really short. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put one right here to kind of cover that foam. And I'm gonna go ahead and do yet another one right here. So she's got 2 flowers. And then I'm going to pick from my wreath one of these stems. And that's why I like having this wreath, because I can just pick from it and I'm just having so much fun pulling from it. So I'm gonna cut this short. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert into the foam like this. I'll show you by creating an upward motion. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this lateral right here. I'm gonna cut this guy. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and insert the whole thing, but I'm gonna give her a bend like this so it stands up. So basically we're inserting on the foam flat and then I want that to go up. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See what that does? It just creates a backdrop for her. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut this short and I'm gonna put a few of these yellow daisies here on the front. And just continue to cut the little daisies and just add them right here. And you know what, I think I'm gonna leave this one tall and just put it right here like that. How sweet is that? So cute. And then what I wanna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some of these Easter eggs just to bring in some of that blue color. And once again, if you want it to be lateral, just bend that stem on an L shape and then go ahead and poke like that. And remember, I'm working on sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So I'm gonna do 2 on one side. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy, let me spin around my way, right here. And so that way you have 2 on one side and 1 on one. So I'm gonna put her aside. I'm gonna get my lantern so we can do the top and I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. All right, so now we're going to decorate the lantern, the top of it, and we're gonna make a swag. Remember I told you I had this old ivy that I just wanted to use as a base. And this right here, you guys, is a spray that you can buy. And it is to spray your silk arrangements where they look dusty and tired. Like this one was found at a thrift store. So you basically just spray this spray and it brings them back alive. And you don't have to use much of it. And as you guys can see, it's now really vivid green, and I also love using this. You can find this at Shinoda Design Center or any other floral supply stores. It is very affordable, so I really recommend it. It's new and improved. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna create a swag. So I wanna bring 2 of these down like this and 1 up, because remember, what goes up must come down. So it doesn't matter what is it that you're making, you have to follow that rule if you want your swag to be proportioned and evenly distributed. So right about there, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with my forsythia. And this forsythia is from Walmart. I don't know if they have it right now, but I used this last year. Remember when I decorated my patio and I did this huge floral arrangement of forsythia. If you guys have not seen that video, it's also gonna be linked down below because it was so much fun. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start right here. I want it to be very dramatic. So I'm gonna use a lot of this forsythia because I really love the color yellow, like I said, mixed with blue and white. I just think it is so pretty, as you guys can see in my shirt. So I'm gonna go ahead and remember, this is your core right here. You never let go of your core because your core is where you're gonna tie all of it together. And I want it to be really wild and pretty because when forsythia grows in the wild, and when I lived in Kansas, it grew outside of my house. It just is so disheveled and so pretty. And I think that is the beauty of forsythia. Then I'm gonna add some of these pretty mums, and I'm gonna go ahead and add right here to the core like this. Then I'm gonna grab this hydrangea and I'm gonna go ahead and let it fly out a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and remember, what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna bring another one right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna have one of these zip ties. I'm gonna use the white one so it disappears. And I'm gonna zip tie all of this together. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying the spring series. I'm having so much fun. You have no idea how much fun I'm having by showing you guys all of these ideas in hopes to inspire you to create something beautiful. And remember, you do not have to recreate it exactly the same. You can always change it to your colors, regardless regardless of what colors you're using, that season you can just run with the idea and make it your own. So, all right, so that's very tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right here the excess. And I'm gonna put this down for now because we're gonna create the bow for it. And while I'm in here, actually I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of these pipe cleaners because we're going to need it. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and give it a really long tail because remember I told you I want it to be really dramatic. And I'm gonna make a bow that is going to represent spring. So basically you do a little loop like this, and this is a one side printed, so you have to twist it around. And I want it to be starting with smaller loops, and we're gonna create some larger loops, probably as large as the hydrangea, so it's proportionate. And just, we're gonna start creating our bow and twisting. Now, if you don't know how to make a bow, I have a tutorial on how to make 3 types of bows, and I always recommend it to you guys. The music is really loud because it was one of my first videos, but I'm going to link it up right here, right now, so you guys can go check it out. It really was so much fun and very informational, even though it was pretty loud because back then I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I still don't kind of know what I'm doing, but I can defend myself now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I have 3 on each side, and I think that's plenty. So I'm going to cut right here because I do wanna save some of this ribbon for the other side of the mantle to just weave it in. All right, so I'm going to grab my pipe cleaner, pull it through here, the main loop, and never letting go of your bow. Remember to pull down. Then what you need to do is you need to pull down this tail going down like this, so it goes down with the rest of it. Pull really tight, then just give it a twist like this, and then you can fluff your bow by bringing some of these tails up and down. And look how cute this ribbon is. I love it. Then what we're going to do is we're gonna go ahead and bring our swag, and we're going to attach the bow right here on the core. And that's why I like to call it the core, so that way we know where it goes. Like this. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but like this. And then I'm going to twist right here. Now, if your pipe cleaner like mine is too short, all you have to do is grab another one. Let me grab a green one so it matches, and just tie them together by swirling them around. Then you swirl this around. So fun. How cute is this? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna give it a little bend to all of it together. I'm gonna grab the whole thing, just give it a little bend like this, so that way it curves onto the lantern. And I'm gonna tie it right here. And then we're going to fluff. But before we fluff, I'm gonna get my bunny and I'm gonna install it inside. So stay tuned. Okay, so to decorate this side of the mantle to match our lantern, what we're going to need is 2 of these beautiful white hydrangeas. I'm also going to use 2 of these foliages, which is my favorite from Walmart. These guys are only $3, and look at all the greenery you get. So we get 2, and a variety of forsythia and baby moms that I used on the lantern as well. I'm gonna go ahead and just pitch those over to that side because we're going to start with the greenery. Now what I want you to do is grab your greenery and give it a fluff, and that means to touch everything that is separated or a lateral. What you want to do is just go ahead and give it a fluff like this. So what I'm going to do for this case, I could cut it, but I'm not going to because I might need it for a taller arrangement later on. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend it in half, and that also is gonna help us to interlock some of the stems right here. And just make sure you do it really tightly, all right? So I have my 3 candlesticks right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and curve it right here, and I'm gonna put one right here on the back, coming down, and I want it to come down on the fireplace. And then I'm gonna go ahead and insert this one right here, covering some of the candlesticks right here. Then I'm gonna grab my 2 hydrangeas, and I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, use that bent as a grid, and I'm going to put 2 of them right here back to back. So this corner is going to be our core where everything is going to come out of. Now let me get my other stems right here. I have some forsythia, and I'm going to start with some of these short laterals. And remember, forsythia needs to be played with and also a little bit more wild. So go ahead and get my vent. I already went ahead and prepped all of this to be faster. So basically just come out of the core right here and start spilling forward. This is so easy, and I promise you, you will love the way this looks. So we're gonna place some on the mantle right here. I'm gonna go ahead and use this forsythia as well, like this. And it's going to match perfectly with the lantern that we're gonna place on the other side of the mantle. Look at that, how cute is that? It's just like you put a branch of forsythia over on your mantle. So I'm gonna make sure this one stands up a little bit like that. Then I wanna grab one of my short ones, maybe this Daisy Mom. Go ahead and place it right here. And look how everything just peels from that corner to both sides. I'm going to grab this longer one and I'm gonna insert through the hydrangea to make it look like it grew from it. When you interlock flowers like that, they just look more natural, because when flowers grow on the wild, that's how they grow. They tangle together. So I'm gonna add one right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this last one right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my candles. I'm gonna put them right here on my, let me cross you right here, on my candlesticks, right here. And remember, these are remote operated. You can just turn them on, and just like that, you have a gorgeous swag on your mantle. So now I'm gonna put it all together. Keep watching. Okay, so I wanna show you how I set this gorgeous table for two, and I'm gonna start with this beautiful wicker charger. This came from a store in Kansas called Nail Hills, and I think they still have them available. Then I'm gonna go ahead and use this blue and white plate that I think it is perfect to go with the ribbon that we use, so it all kinda is a cohesive look. After that, I'm gonna color black my napkin, and for my napkin, I'm gonna use this really beautiful yellow napkin that I've had for quite a few years. And to color black, I'm going to put a white dish. And as you guys can see, that yellow and the blue really just looks absolutely gorgeous together. I love this look. Then for a little whimsy, I have chosen this pretty plate with a gold rim right here. And I've chosen this footed pedestal little balls to put an Easter egg and one of the butterflies right here in the middle. In this occasion, I'm gonna use my gold flatware, and I'm gonna put the knife actually right here on the top. And I'm going to place my spoon on my right. Remember, spoon and knife have 5 letters like the word right, and fork has 4 letters like the word left, and that's the easiest way to remember it, just like this. Okay, so for my flatware, I chose once again these beautiful blue glasses that I have that I am so obsessed with. They are crystal, and then these amber glasses that I think look so pretty with this particular tablescape. As you guys can see, the colors just blend together, and I love it. And I went ahead and did a beautiful centerpiece with just some twig branches with the Daisy Moms, and I added all of these butterflies to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here, and as you guys can see, it was super simple yet so dramatic. All right, well, I want to take a second to talk to you guys about 2 things. Number one, like I mentioned to you before, this is our last spring Easter DIY video, and I really hope that you will give this video a thumbs up, because that really helps the channel. And if you have any friends that are interested in DIYs, be sure to share this with them on their social media. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for daily Insta stories, behind the scenes, and all of the things that you are now going to see here on my YouTube channel. With all that said, it's time to get back to the video. Wasn't that centerpiece so much fun and super easy to create? I'm telling you guys, these spring DIYs are so fun, and I really think you're going to enjoy them. And our next spring DIY is going to be this really cute wreath using our bunny and I cannot wait to get started. So let's just get started. What we're going to need is going to be a grapevine wreath, and I selected this one from Walmart because it is very narrow. So I like the fact that it's not too bulky because we're gonna cover all of it. So basically we're just gonna use it as a base, and the narrower the better. Then we're gonna use this cute little bunny that I love her dress. We're going to also use a bolt of ribbon from Walmart, and I love this floral pattern because it kind of matches the bunny's pattern. And then I'm gonna use a selection of these picks from Hobby Lobby. So it's going to be so easy. Oh, and then also some wire. This can be a bolt wire or just 18 gauge wire, our scissors and our cutters. All right, so it's going to be super easy. What we're going to do is we're gonna select, let me see, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 picks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the top, and make sure you give them a little bit of a fluff, especially the greenery, be sure to pull it. So I'm gonna start right here on the top, and I'm going to select right here. I'm gonna kind of fluff it. And the best way to give it balance is going to be to go on a clock motion. Remember, when you are making a floral wreath or any sort of wreath anyways, you have to go on a clock motion, because what a wreath is in ancient times, like I think it was Greek or Egyptian times, think of a garland, and then what they would do is like tie it together at the end, and that would create a wreath. That's all the wreaths that you see on ancient ruins. So basically what it does is like does this motion right here because it was a garland that was tied together. So if anything had items going one way, then at the end they would tie it together and it would create that clock motion. I don't know if that makes sense, but it made sense to me when they explained it to me at the flower shop where I learned everything that I know. And when my ex-boss, or my boss at that time, explained that to me, I was like, wow, that makes so much sense why it has that shape. All right, so I'm gonna go to remember, what goes up must come down. And so I'm gonna use one more right here without fluffing. Don't do anything without fluffing. I'm gonna start right here. So basically I'm gonna put right here, and I'm gonna, once again, following that clock motion. And remember, what happens on the left has to happen right here on the right. So you have to make sure that goes the same way. And that's why I like this wreath, because it's so narrow, like this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cover those spots. So basically I'm gonna go here and here. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right, and always going with the same motion. That way you have a balanced wreath. And then I'm gonna insert this one like this, because that's how it would grow. And then now I'm gonna do these empty spots right here, 1 and 2. So I'm gonna grab, and this is gonna be a very, not so full of a wreath, because I really want this to show. If I wanted a fuller wreath, I could have used a Christmas greenery wreath, but I want it to be very sparse because I like these carrots. So I want them to show on my door, and then because I also want the other elements to show right here. So now I have to make sure that I have one bold spot right here, and then I have to go immediately down over on this side. So I'm gonna grab my last 2. And I hope you guys enjoyed these DIYs for spring. I'm having so much fun, and I cannot wait to share the rest of them, so be sure to stay tuned. All right, so now I'm gonna put this guy right here. And as you can see, what we did is started on the top, and then we worked our way around, and now you can fluff your cute little carrots like this. Make sure that they go up like this. Right here, I'm gonna sit these ones flat while I fluff the other ones, because that's where our little bunny is gonna go. And so to tie her, I'm gonna pull her skirt up, and I'm gonna grab one of these wires, and then I'm gonna put it right here on her waist, and I'm going to pull really tight like this. Then I'm gonna twist just once or twice, and then we're gonna open those wires, because I was gonna attach to one side of the wreath. Then I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but just going the opposite way. That way we have a wire to attach her to our form. So there you go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit her right here. How adorable is this? Oh my goodness. This is gonna look so cute on the door. And what I'm going to do is, using those wires, I'm just going to attach to my form right here. And this is gonna sit flat on the door. And just make sure that you do, because this wire is so thin, make sure that you do tie it really tight. like this. And then I'm gonna grab the other wires from the other side and I'm gonna attach on this side right here, like this. And so now what I'm gonna do is pull her skirt down, put her arm out. How adorable is this, you guys? But that's not enough. So what I want to do is I really want to accent her. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to open this ribbon, and you know I always like to just let it hang down. And I wanna give it a little tail so it really goes down on the door. And I'm going to do a simple little bow. And you guys have seen me do bows all the time. So I'm gonna speed this really fast. Stay tuned. Okay, so now that our bow is done, I wanna have those two longer tails. What I'm going to is I'm gonna attach with one of the 18 gauge wire. And you can find this wire on Amazon or anywhere actually where crafts supplies are sold. Pull really tight. If you don't know how to make a bow, I have a video I'm gonna link down below. Then also on the iCard right here, so you guys can see 3 ways of making a bow. And then what you wanna do is you wanna attach right here on the corner where she sits. I'm gonna make sure that I don't disturb her, and then pulling my wire back right here. I want to attach so she sits on the bow and it looks like she's sitting on the bow. Make sure that you attach very tightly like this, like so. You guys remember what I used to say like so all the time? Oh my gosh, I was giving so much grief. And then what you want to do is just go ahead and fluff it like this and bring her legs forward so that she sits on top of the bow like this. Maybe not all of it, but like so. Give it a fluff. I'm gonna finish fluffing. I'll put it on the door and show you what it looks like. Stay tuned. Okay, now that our container is prepped, green and ready, what we're going to do is put our centerpiece together, and I could not be more excited. At this point, if you haven't, I would really appreciate if you guys give this video a thumbs up and share with your friends on Facebook, on any social media that you use. I would really appreciate it because that really helps the channel. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut this string that the carrot came with, and I wanna get as close as I can because I don't like that. It's very not pretty. Once you are done cutting that, what you wanna do is go ahead and give this a little fluff, just so it looks a little bit more natural. I'm not gonna say real because, well, it's a fake carrot. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put my carrot right here where I want it, and having my skewer, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna poke it right about here, and then on an angle, I wanna show you that I'm gonna do this on an angle. I'm going to go ahead and insert my skewer to hold my pumpkin. Then I'm going to measure about right where I want it. I'm gonna cut some of this skewer down, and I'm going to place my carrot right here, kind of sideways, making sure that it goes all the way down. How adorable is that? I love the way that it's looking because it's sideways and it's just gonna look so cute. All right, so next what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the orange ranunculus. These are from Walmart. They are really cute, and I think they still have them. I got them last year, but I think they still have them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them all at once because that's, you know, if you've been following the channel, you know that I do that. So that way I save some time when I'm working with florals. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab these peach peonies that I think they're so beautiful, contrasting, and I'm gonna cut them all at once as well, making sure that I get rid of this tag that comes with the flowers. Then I'm gonna bring my lilacs right here. I'm gonna put them to the side, as well as my wax flower, because that's gonna be our flyaways. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these beautiful ranuncula, and I'm gonna cut some of this greenery, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert that somewhere because you wanna add some of the greenery that comes with the flower. Then I'm gonna cut the flower, and I wanna cut them short. I'm gonna put one right here on the front. And remember that we like to work with sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cut another one a little bit taller, and I'm gonna put it right here, and that's going to be our set of 2. And notice that I'm doing one kind of facing to my left and the other one facing forward. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna spin all the way around, because remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. So you have to repeat the same right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add one right here, And on this side, I'm gonna do a set of 3, so that way it's fuller. So I'm gonna do 1 facing to my left, 1 facing to my right, and then I'm gonna add a 3rd one over here to do a triangle, kind of going down. And that's gonna give us that triangle that we're always looking for. And so now I have some right here on my left, I have some on my right, and I have a ranunculus all by itself. And remember, we have to do a triangle when we're working with this balance. So I'm gonna go ahead and add one right here all the way down. See, I'm gonna show you something right here with the centerpiece. You have the point of the carrot, you have to balance with another flower right here. And so I did a set of 3 right here, immediately change to this side, do a set of 2, and then do 1, because that's going to balance the point of the carrot over on this side. I did not see this peony just flying around. All right, so now what I'm going to do is the one that I have 1 by itself, I'm gonna add 2 with, and I'm gonna just go ahead and add them like that. And then the one that I have 2 with, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 to do a set of 3. And then over here, because I already have 3, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this guy right here, and I'm gonna bring 1 here, right by the point of my carrot, and I'm gonna do a set of 2 to do a triangle with this one right here. And that's what balance is, you guys. So now you have 3 doing a triangle. If I move over to this side, I have 3, and then over here I have 3, and I have 1 single peony left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin around, and I'm going to add this guy probably over here on the top. This is what we call the crown, kind of hugging that carrot. So now all of these greeneries that you have, that you cut from your peonies, don't pitch them, just go ahead and look at them, and it kind of extends the shape of your centerpiece. And what I like about this particular foliage is that it actually looks like carrot foliage. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add all of it. I'm gonna leave that one to the end so I can add some at the end. And remember, I always like to leave one of each to use at the end. I think I'm gonna use that one on the crown. All right, so far so good. So this is gonna be sitting like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do my flyaways. And remember, I always like to do a flyaway, and the way I do it is I'm gonna add one right here pointing up like this. And remember, what goes up must come down. And the flyaways are always the last flower that you add, and you make sure that actually it protrudes out further out than any other flower that you do. I'm gonna add one right here, and remember, what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna put it right here, and you always have to continue to spin around your flowers so that way you have balance. So basically 1 up, 1 down. I'm gonna go over to this side. I'm gonna do 1 up right here, 1 down over here like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of this wax flower, and I like the wax flower because it's daintier and it has more of a swing, more of a dangle, and then also it has some greenery on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some like this. I'm gonna go ahead and add some on the crown over on this side. This is so pretty. I love this color combination. Make sure that your flowers always go in the foam. That way it's not gonna be falling apart. If you're doing this for a customer, then I really recommend you glue it, whether it's with your hot glue gun or your hot glue pan. I really always recommend the pan because it is easier, but at this point, I just do it to show you guys, to instruct you how to do these arrangements. So therefore, I don't glue any of my arrangements. But if it is for a customer, you know that I'm gonna be gluing it because it's, well, I don't want it to fall apart on their table. All right, so I'm gonna add 1 more wax flower right here and 1 right here, kind of facing down, because remember, what goes up must come down. And just like that, I have a few, I don't know if I want to add, but you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and add. Then this guy right here I have, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it right on the back, because like I said, it looks like carrot foliage, and so I'm gonna just put it right there to support the weight of my carrot. What do you guys think? All right, everyone, so I just want to show you real quick how this floral arrangement centerpiece turned out for spring. This was a super easy DIY, and I really recommend you give it a try. As you guys can see, the big carrot really makes a statement. and it really pops from my furniture. I love the way this looks, but I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below. Okay, so now that we know what the wreath looks like, which is our inspiration for this spring Easter centerpiece, I'm gonna mention that I have 4 types of foliages, which is what I usually like to use. I'm gonna start with this foliage right here, and remember the steps. What happens on the left immediately happens on the right. So what you need to do is spin your centerpiece or your arrangement or your wreath, and then do opposite what you're doing. And I think by this point, you guys, if you've been following the channel, then I'm sure you probably know, and you've heard me many times say, what happens on the left happens on the right, what goes up must come down. So that, and then the other thing is that I like to insert all one foliage at a time, because that's what's gonna give your wreath some, or I'm sorry, not your wreath, I'm thinking about the wreath that we made, but your wreath, your centerpiece, your floral arrangement, the balance. So remember, what happens on the left immediately happens on the right, and then what goes down right here, what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna start adding some of these foliages up here on the crown, respecting that circle that I have, because that's where our candle and our bunny is going to sit. So I have that. What I'm going to add next is going to be some of these lamb's ear. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one over here, like this. And I want it to be a little higher because the bunny sits a little higher. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that he is sitting on a beautiful forest of greenery. So I'm gonna cut this one because it's a little bit too long. Don't be afraid to cut your greeneries to make it work for you. All right, this one is also too long. So I'm gonna cut it in half. I'm going to insert this guy right here. Always repeat yourself in your mind, in your head. What happens on the left happens on the right. What goes up must come down, and you will always have a balanced centerpiece. All right, so far so good. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna put some of this beautiful, and I'm gonna put this to the side so I can show you guys. So this guy right here comes with all of these foliages, and what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna pull them apart so I can use all of this foliage. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna keep this little succulent to the side so we can insert her as a separate. And I'm gonna do the same with this guy right here. So when you buy your picks and your bushes, don't be afraid to separate them from their foliages, because you will get more impact and more bang for your buck if you separate them like this than if you were just to put them all together. So I have 3 succulents, and look at all of the greenery that I have, and I love the color on this greenery. So we're gonna go ahead and bring our centerpiece back in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start inserting. This comes with some beautiful lamb's ear. Don't be afraid to cut them short. That I'm just obsessed with this gray coloring on it because it's going to look so well with our bunny. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut, and look how dangly this one is. See, if we insert the whole thing, then you're inserting in just one spot, to where if you remove it and make it a lot of them, look what you're gonna do. You're going to be able to manipulate. Look at the beautiful fern right here. And because I have a fern on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and go over to this side over here, and I'm gonna put my other fern that came with the succulents to give my centerpiece some balance, like this. And just make sure you bend it down. I have another fern right here. I love this because it's looking more like a garden centerpiece, and it's gonna look perfect with the flowers that I have selected for this particular centerpiece. It's going to be so much fun. All right, I'm gonna add a few more. I'm gonna cut this one as well. And this one right here. That bunny is gonna look like he's sitting on a garden full of flowers and greeneries, and she's going to be happy. Sophia is gonna be a happy bunny. All right, so now that we have that, I'm gonna bring my flowers. I'm gonna leave the succulents towards the end. Let me get that ready, and I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. Okay, the selection of flowers that I chose for this particular arrangement is going to be some white mums, some alstroemeria, as well as some beautiful white lilac, and some of the succulents with the lemons. It's going to look super fresh. Okay, so I'm gonna start by putting my little bunny. I'm gonna bring Sophia back into the picture. So I'm gonna set her right here in the middle, and I wanna design around her. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab one of my flowers right here, and I'm gonna bring her in. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, so I have to go immediately to the other side. And then what goes up must come down. I'm gonna veer to my right, and I'm gonna bring the flower down over to this side. Now, because I went ahead and insert this to the right, I'm gonna flip all the way around, and I'm gonna bring another flower down opposite the one that I did. And I'm gonna start with these 4 right now, because I wanna introduce my Alstroemeria, and I'm gonna start with this one on the top. So I'm gonna start right here. What happens on the right, I'm sorry, on the left happens on the right. And remember to respect that circle, because that's going to be where you insert the candle and that votive. Okay, so I'm gonna go, what goes up must come down. Always just veer your centerpiece like this, and you'll always will have a balanced arrangement. So cute. All right, so I'm gonna leave one of each. You know, I like to always leave one of each towards the end, so that way I can fill in gaps. I have some of these beautiful white lilac that I got at Walmart, and I'm going to cut them all at once. Remember to save this guy, because later we'll use it for other projects. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna insert right here, and this is going to be our flyaway. So I'm gonna add one right here, and I'm gonna start doing what happens, I'm sorry, what goes up must come down. And when you're doing the flyaways, all you have to do is go up like this, and then down, right in the same spot, and then up like this. Then we're gonna insert one down on the bottom. And always remember, the flyaways need to fly away from the centerpiece. That is the last item that you add, because you wanna make sure that it's all flying away from the centerpiece. It's something that is wispy. Think of wispiness when you're doing flyaways. So I'm gonna add one right here on the top, like that. I'm gonna grab another one and cut a little bit of it, because I don't want it to be too long, like this. So cute. Doesn't she look like she's having a lot of fun? All right, I'm gonna add a few more that I have. Cut right here. I'm gonna bring one down here to the corner. She's our last one. Make sure that it goes into the foam so it stays. If you're making this to sell, I do recommend to have your hot glue pen or your hot glue gun at the ready. All right, so I have my 3 succulents. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab the longest one, and I'm gonna add right here next to Sophia. And then I'm gonna give it a little bend. Then I'm gonna swirl around, and I'm gonna grab the second largest one, like this. Isn't that cute? Then I'm gonna add this one right here. Remember, when you only have 3, you make sure that you make a triangle. That way you're having some of the balance. All right, so now what I'm going to show you is, once our flowers are all in, what I'm going to show you is how to add some of these lemons. And for that, I'm going to use some of these skewers. And I got this package of skewers from the dollar store because they're cheap. Remember, when you are buying mechanics for your centerpieces, these arrangements, make sure you don't spend a lot of money, because, well, this all is going to go to the trash. So what I'm going to do is cut them in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab a lemon and poke it like this. Now, if you're gonna make it to sell, I would recommend to add a lot of that glue there before you insert. Then I'm gonna bring that lemon and I'm gonna add it right there. Now remember that when we're doing this, I like to add sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So I'm gonna add 2 right there. Then I'm gonna spin all the way around, and right here in this corner, I'm going to add 2 more. So make sure that you poke your lemon. Take it right there. 1 more. And remember, we always work with sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add here a set of 3. I'm gonna add 1 more. These are recycled lemons that I have used from other projects. And this is a perfect way to just go ahead and add them. And look how cute that cluster of lemons looks right there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add 1 here, just on the front, right here, and I'm gonna make sure that I push it in let me take it out. The skewer went through, so what I'm gonna do is make sure that you poke it in like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do another cluster back here. I'm gonna do a cluster of 2 for that. So 1 skewer will do. Just make sure that you cut it in half. You poke in, and then you go in here like this. And I'm gonna add yet another one on the bottom, like that. Make sure that you poke them together so they look intentional, like they grew together, like this. Isn't that just cute and adorable? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I have some of these ribbon tails that I used on a wreath. So what I'm going to do to make it all look cohesive, I'm gonna add some of these ribbon tails to add that black and white to it. How cute is this? And I'm gonna go over to the other side. I'm gonna add one right here towards the back, making sure that it goes on the foam. And that's just going to add that little touch of black and white, and it's going to make our projects look cohesive. So I'm gonna add a little loop right here, and then right next to it, what I'm gonna add is a tail to make it look more intentional, like this. All right, you guys, so this is what a beautiful spring centerpiece, Easter centerpiece looks like. And the reason why I like to say spring Easter centerpiece is because we're going to add our candle, and our candle is going to make it more of a spring centerpiece. So I'm gonna add this guy right here, making sure that he stays perfect. And then using our remote, we're gonna turn this guy on. And that's what's gonna look like for spring. This can be your spring centerpiece for any occasion, but then, you know, you have the option of removing this guy and adding your bunny. And that would make it more of an Easter celebration centerpiece. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment and let me know what do you think about cute little Sophia. Okay everyone, so as I've told you before, when I am decorating any home for any interior design jobs that I'm doing, I like to start at the door. And I like to start at the door with a beautiful wreath, and today I'm gonna show you how to create a beautiful wreath with lemons, black and white, and a lot of succulents and greenery. So this is gonna be so much fun. The very first thing I wanna mention is a grapevine wreath that we're going to be needing. I have my hot glue pen already melted. I'm going to use a variety of these greeneries that came from Shunera Design Center. They have this cute little succulent and some greeneries that come already taped. I'm going to use a variety of white flowers because I really feel like yellow and white go very well together and it's so beautiful for spring. A variety of other greeneries we're going to use. I'm going to use my wire cutters because I cannot work without my wire cutters. My scissors. I'm gonna use a 16 gauge wire that is already pre-taped. I'm gonna use some of this beautiful black and white ribbon because it is so fresh and it kind of gives it that French feel, especially when you mix it with some of these lemons. All right, so I'm gonna get all of this situated. I'm gonna bring my first element and I'll be right back, so stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna make a bow for my wreath, and I wanna give it a really long tail because you guys know that I like it when the tails just dangle over on the door. I think it's so pretty when the wind just pushes them over, and it's just so elegant and pretty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these tails and I'm gonna insert this in a minute. So I'm gonna put that on the side. And when you're doing longer tails, you wanna make sure that you do the tails first. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just drop this ribbon on the floor, and I'm gonna give it another short tail, probably about half of the wreath length, or from here to the middle, about right here. And then I'm gonna do about 4 loop bow. I don't want it to be too overpowering because I want all of the beautiful flowers and all of the lemons to really show. But we do have to make a beautiful bow. So you guys know it's super easy how to make a bow. Just pinch, and because this is not a printed on one side, all you have to do is bend like this and then gather in the middle and then do it one more time. And every time that you do it, you wanna make sure that you measure about the same as the last loop right here. So I'm gonna do probably about a 6 loop bow. So I'm gonna make sure that this one is a little bit bigger so that way they stagger together. I love making wreaths. I don't know about you guys, but I love making wreaths, whether it's for my mom or my grandma or just to sell or to just make and show you guys the techniques. I'm gonna go ahead and cut right here. So once you have it right here, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my 2 loops and I'm gonna insert that. I'm gonna gather right here. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my wire and I'm gonna go back and very tightly, we're gonna spin this 1 time, 2 times, and that's all you need. Open the wire. So now what you can do once it is spun like that, you can go ahead and fluff your bow, making sure that it's all fluff and pretty. What I like about this ribbon is because this is not wire, so it gives it that floppy feel versus a wire ribbon. I just love it when you're making something like this because it just makes it look more effortless, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and add my ribbon first, or my bow first. And the reason I wanna do that is because that's gonna save me from using greenery and other elements in that place where I'm gonna put the ribbon. So I'm gonna make sure that I twist it about 8 times. Then I'm gonna cut the excess and I'm gonna hang my form right here. And remember, because we're gonna add so much things right here, then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna forget about my bow. I'm actually kind of gonna squish it like this. We'll fluff it towards the end, so that way we get to do the greeneries. And so I don't get my tails dirty, I'm gonna go ahead and put them towards the back, like that. That way we can really work, and then we'll fluff the bow at the end. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring a selection of greeneries that I had from past projects. Most of these greeneries came from Walmart, but you can use any greeneries that you already may have. And I do recommend that you use a variety of at least 3 types of ribbons, of greeneries, which we have these lamb's ear, we have this beautiful foliage, and then also we have this eucalyptus that I think is going to look so pretty with the white flowers. But if you guys have been following the channel, you know that what I like to do is I like to start with 1 type of greenery every time. So I'm gonna start right here on the top, and then we're gonna give it about a half moon because I wanna be sure that we have enough greenery. So I'm gonna start right here. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and these are the rules, the Ramon at Home rules that I have made for you guys, so you can have a beautifully balanced wreath, and what goes up must come down. So we're gonna measure about the same length. A lot of you guys ask me, what is this pan? Now, this particular one I bought at Goodwill, I want to say about 6 years ago. It only cost me $3.75. And what you do is you put the pellet glues in it, and that allows you to melt the glue, and that way you're not using a hot glue gun. So in case that you are new to the channel, that's what that is. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this and add it right here. So we're filling in and making sure that I use all of that same greenery. Remember, I like to use 1 greenery at a time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna carefully making sure that I don't get my bow dirty. I'm gonna go right here close to the bow, bend down, and I'm gonna go right here close to it 1 more time. You guys, can you believe this is February already? I mean, January is gone, it's almost spring, spring is almost here, and I'm super excited to bring you interior design ideas and decorating DIYs for your interior design this new year. I'm super excited, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that we specialize on Christmas, so we're already planning the looks for this year. This year we're going to go big, you guys. Go big or go home. I've been to market in Atlanta, Dallas, and in Vegas. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I was at the markets shopping for looks and for items that we're going to be needing this year. We're gonna be helping Shinoda this year with all of their looks. So that's cool because I'm gonna be able to decide what looks are going to go into their displays and then bring you those looks, you guys. So it's going to be so much fun. 2022 is going to be the funnest year, God willing. We always have to put God first because we make plans, but He might have another plan for our lives, and that way we're not disappointed. So if God willing, we're gonna have so much fun this year. All right, don't forget to go inside as well because you don't want a wreath that is just flat on the inside. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some of these eucalyptus right here. I'm gonna add it right about here, making sure it faces the inside of my wreath. I have a few more of these. I feel like I need one right here. So it starts giving some girth to this. Look at that, you see? Okay, so now I'm gonna use some of this eucalyptus and I'm gonna start, this lamb's ear. This is from the Walmart store. as I like to call it, Wally World. Who else calls Walmart Wally World in here? All right, so I'm gonna do one on the top. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. So we're gonna go immediately right here, and that is just the best way to balance your wreath or floral arrangement or anything that you're making. So now I'm gonna go right here, right about here, but now without first putting some glue so it really attaches to these wreath. Like that. And so now I'm gonna go to the left and add another one right here. Make sure you face them forward because that really gives it that fullness. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these monsteras. So I want to go ahead and use them because I've had them for a while. So I also like to add like bigger foliages like this. I think it is so cute when you add it, and it gives it so much texture. I'm gonna start right here on the top, and I'm going to add some of these monstera, and look at that. It gives it so much texture because now there's like smaller foliages, bigger foliages, and I just love it. So I'm gonna add one more right here. And make sure that you go all the way into the form. And because they have that wire, you can really manipulate the monstera and make it look alive. All right, so now I'm going to go here. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this type of videos where I'm giving you multiple ideas for your interior design and your home decor. I'm having so much fun coming up with so many ideas for you guys, and sometimes all you need is just that one video to inspire you. And so that's what I'm trying to do with this. They are longer, but you know what? You don't have to watch it all at once. You can just watch a little bit at a time. All right, so that's that. Now I'm gonna put my foliages down. I'm gonna bring my succulents and my florals, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. Okay, so now I have my succulents right here. I'm gonna have my lemons at the ready, and then also all of my white flowers that I'm gonna be needing for this particular wreath. I also have 3 types of flowers. I have this beautiful, I don't know what it is. I got it at Walmart, but then I have this lilac, and then I have some mums, and also my lemon. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna actually fluff my bow, because once we start adding flowers, we wanna make sure that we see some of these black and white in it, and we don't cover all of it. So we wanna make sure that we fluff our bow really good. And look at that, isn't that pretty? I just love black and white. We've used it for fall last year. I haven't used it for Christmas, but I think I might do a black and white theme this year. So you make sure that you put all of these beautiful bows like this, and then never forget to dovetail your ribbons, because remember, we have this thing that if I come to your home and it's not dovetail, I'm gonna ask you for a pair of scissors. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger. So I'm gonna cut right about where the wreath is. We have 1, 2, it's almost like a ladder motion that we're creating, like that. And then this particular one, that is the longest one, what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab this bow, I'm gonna make a knot right here to the side, and then I'm gonna dovetail right here. How cute is this? So pretty. All right, so now that our bow is fluffed, now we can go to town with our flowers, and I'm gonna start with this beautiful flower. You can use any white flower that you may already have, but I like this one from Walmart because it already has some greenery, which is going to help us to continue to cover the form. And then when you cut right here, you can also use this as a greenery. All you have to do is cut that little bud, and look at this. If you have bold spots, then you look for a place and then you add that greenery, and it helps to cover. And this particular one right here, I'm gonna use, remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. I'm gonna add it all the way over here. So now we're gonna move over to this side. I always like to give it a curvature so it kind of latches onto your wreath like this. Look at that. And then I'm gonna grab some of these beautiful mums, and I'm going to go right here where the bow is. I'm gonna open that up, make sure that it goes on the form so it really sticks on. I'm gonna grab another one of these mums from Walmart. I'm gonna open up right here like that, and then I want to add something taller right here. So I'm gonna grab one of these flowers right here. Remember, I like to use 2 to 3 types of different flowers and foliages to create more texture I'm gonna add that one right there so it continues to add. I feel like I need some right here. And for that, I'm gonna grab a mum with a double foliage. And then I'm going to add right here, like this. I'm gonna grab one more. I do have one more. And I'm gonna go over to this side. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know that I like my flyaways. And for that particular flyaway, what I'm going to is I'm gonna grab some of these lilac, but I'm gonna leave it at the end. So I'm also gonna use some of these beautiful succulent picks from Shinoda. I'm gonna cut it, and I'm gonna add some right here. So dig into your glue. You guys, this is turning out so pretty and so fresh looking. It's perfect for the spring season. So I'm gonna add this right here, and look at that succulent right there. Isn't that pretty? It just gives it texture, it gives it character. I'm gonna add another one. So I'm gonna cut right here, and I'm gonna add it over on this side. Let me see, make sure that you have some of that glue, and go into the wreath form like this. And then I'm gonna add one right here, because when you don't have that many items, you make sure that you at least have 3 to create the triangle we're always talking about. So I'm gonna put my bow to the side. I'm gonna bend this a little bit on my glue. I'm gonna go ahead and insert right here, making sure that it goes in. And look at that, that creates so much texture. It gives you that succulent. We'll fluff our bow one more time when we're done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of these flyaways, which is this lilac. And when you're doing flyaways, make sure that you have a longer stem, because that will really allow you to let it stick out like this. Look at that. Make sure that goes in, it is in. I'm gonna put one right here on the top, so I'm gonna select a longer one. And I'm gonna go over here to the top. Make sure it goes on the form. And look at that, that's creating a lot of that fussiness of flyaway that I love. I will not make a wreath. The first thing I look for when I'm planning a wreath is what am I gonna use for the flyaway, because that's what really gives it that character. And I feel like I'm gonna add some right here on the bottom. We are almost finished. As you guys can see, it doesn't take but a few minutes to create a beautiful wreath for your front door. I'm gonna add it right there. And then I'm gonna add one right here. So make sure you put enough glue to that stem, and then you go into the form like this. Look at that, how pretty is that? All right, so now that we are done with our flowers, oh, I have one more lilac. Let's see, where can I put it? I'm gonna put it right here. Look at that. So now that we have our flowers, I'll fluff the ribbon in a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these lemons from the dollar store, and then I'm gonna open up right here, and I'm going to insert some of these lemons. When you're doing lemons, make sure that you cluster them together in sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add 2 right there, then I'm gonna move down, and I'm gonna add one right here. But you have to dip into that glue. And what I like about that glue is because it really hangs on to the lemon. Look, I don't even have to hang on to it. It'll just dry, and it is so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna add one more. Let's see. I'm gonna add a set over here. And just because you don't see it right here, like you can see a little peekaboo of it, make sure that you add enough glue, because you don't want it to come crashing down. All right, so I'm gonna add right here. See how there's a set of 2, and then I'm gonna come over to this side. Don't forget to go on the outside as well. You wanna make sure that you have a good balance on that wreath. I'm gonna add this one right here, like that. Let's see. Oh, that is so pretty. This one I'm a little concerned, so I'm gonna, there you go. So now I'm gonna add one up here on the top as well, making sure that I have enough glue. And oh, that one fell down because I didn't secure it, but I'm gonna re-glue it. I'm gonna put it back where I wanted it, right there. Now it'll stay, because it really hang on to some of that foliage right here. All right, so far this is so cute, but I feel like, you know, right here where we tied our bow, I wanna do something special. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these succulent. Let me find one that is pretty. Yeah, I'll use this right here. So I'm gonna use this piece of succulent right here. I'm gonna cut them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add that over here to where I tied my bow. I'm gonna add some foliage, which should all be this succulent foliage. And then I'm gonna grab a flower, but I'm gonna cut it really short. So I want it to be really close to it. Right here, over here, look, so it looks like it's coming out of the same area, like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of my lemons, and I'm gonna add it also facing down right here. Okay, so we're almost done. We've added the whole top of it. We added a little cluster right here. But as you guys can see, it looks like your bow is just right here, so it looks really tight in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna show you a trick on how you can create more depth to your wreath with the ribbon. So what you're going to do is you're gonna find one of these stems that you had from cutting either a flower. All you need is like a little stick. So what I'm gonna do is cut the little sticks short. Then I'm gonna bring out a little wire from my wire drawer, and I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'm gonna do two just to show you. So this piece of ribbon that we had, it was left over. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna pinch right here, make a bow, a loop, and then I'm gonna grab one of my sticks that I selected. I'm gonna grab some of this wire, and then I'm going to really tight. You have to do this really tight in order for it to really hang on like this. And so now you're gonna have this bow right here. So what you need to do is you need to grab some glue or dip it into your glue, and then we're gonna go right here and we're gonna continue to add loops to our bow, and see how that just extended the bow over that way. So now I'm gonna cut from my ribbon. Since I'm almost done with this ribbon, might as well use some of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it in half right here. I'm gonna cut, and this is something that is super quick. It doesn't take but a minute. So all you do is like pinch, make sure you pinch right here, put your stick in very tightly. You have to do this very tightly so it doesn't come out, and then also the glue will help it. And now you have this cute little bow like this. So what you do is you dip it into your glue, and then you go right here. I'm going to the form, and look at that. That just helped me extend the bow shape over here. I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna put it indoor and show you what it looks like. Keep watching. You guys, I just want to show you real quick what this wreath turned out to be like. It was super easy, super affordable to make with Walmart items, and believe it or not, dollar store lemons. Aren't those cute? I just love the little knot right here with the mom and the lemon and the succulent. And I love all the succulents in it. I think it turned out so cute. It is fresh looking, it is spring-like, and the black and white really adds that French feel to it. I love it, but I cannot wait to read your comments. So leave me a comment and let me know, what do you think? Okay everyone, so to create the most beautiful wreath for your front door to make a statement this spring, the things we're gonna need is going to be this wreath form that is your basic grapevine form, and this is a recycled one that I continue to use. It's been used quite a lot, as you guys can see. The next thing I'm gonna use is I'm gonna use this beautiful plaque with 3 little bunnies from Walmart. I'm also gonna use some of this Walmart lamb's ear and some of the the dogwood. I was gonna say boxwood, but it's a dogwood actually. Florals from Walmart. I'm gonna use also some leftover eucalyptus. I'm gonna use my wire cutters. You guys know I'm crazy for. You can find this at Home Depot, as well as my scissors. I'm gonna use a little piece of florist foam. And this is the great kind because it really hangs onto your stems very well compared to the green one that really just falls apart. The green one is more to if you're going to make an arrangement, to where this one you can really use to let things fall from it. I'm gonna use a variety of ribbons from Walmart, which is gonna be this stripe and the polka dot that is gonna go so well with our bunnies, and of course our hot glue gun. So I'm gonna get all of the things ready and I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. All right, everyone. So the first step to creating a beautiful statement on your front door for spring is going to be to create a beautiful wreath. And I'm going to give you step by step on how to do that. The very first step is I'm going to open up my ribbon because I'm going to need to tie it. So using my wire cutters, I'm going to cut a little bit of it. So probably just that much. And what you want to do is you want to grab some of this florist foam. Now, if you guys been following this channel, you know that I always preach about this gray florist foam because it is really meant to hang on to heavier materials like your florals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust a little bit right here. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double secure it with some of this ribbon. And you guys probably have seen me do this for the fall wreaths. And what that's going to do is it's going to hold on to that block of foam right there, very tight. Actually, I'm gonna do a knot right there, and that's gonna stay right there, and that's where we're gonna put our floral. So we're gonna use the rest of this ribbon also to tie some other materials to it. So now I want to show you this little plaque right here. This came from Walmart and it's super cute. It says Happy Easter, and it has some striped and polka dot bunnies. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go ahead and actually just hang it from the hanger, and I'm gonna tie it right here so it's one piece. So I'm gonna grab a little wire that I have right here, and I'm gonna wire this together because what I want to do is I want this to be removable, so that way we can remove those bunnies and then they're going to be able to be taken away, and we'll put some other plaques as Easter comes and goes. That way we can just replace the plaque without having to redo all of the florals. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my ribbon, and this ribbon I found at Walmart, and I cannot believe how pretty this ribbon is. Look at that, it's a stripe, and I'm gonna combine it with a polka dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do, oops, I dropped it, but don't mind me if I disappear. I'm gonna go ahead and dovetail my ribbon right here, and I'm gonna do a cute little tail, just a little one. I don't want it to be too extravagant because we're gonna do some florals to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a little belly loop, what I call. And I'm gonna do probably a 4-loop bow. And I love the hand on this ribbon, is so beautiful. Look at that. It just really hangs on to the shape of it. So a 4-loop bow like this, making sure that you have it even so that way it blends evenly. And I'm gonna cut right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my 1.5-inch ribbon. This is a 1.5, this is a 2.5. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna introduce this guy right here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a loop, and this is gonna be our contrasting ribbon. And how beautiful is this? Making sure that that printed polka dot is facing up like this. So I'm probably gonna do a 4-loop on this polka dot, and I'm gonna also give it one long tail. Look how pretty this is. Don't you guys just love this contrast of polka dots and stripes? It makes it look very modern, very chic, and I love it. And for this one, I'm gonna give it a longer tail like that. So now what I'm going to do is grabbing this guy right here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna tie it all together first. I'm gonna use a zip tie because it is the easiest. And I always like to have all of my materials at the ready because that way you're not looking for your materials as you go. I used to have this coworker that used to say piss poor prep makes for piss poor performance, and that stuck with me because it is true. If you have your items at the ready, then you don't have to like really be out there taking longer than you should. My ex-boss used to say you're only as good as you are fast, and that always stuck with me. All right, so now we're gonna fluff this cute little bow, making sure that all of the loops are up like this, and making sure that this guy also goes down. Look how cute this is, you guys. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this guy right here. So I'm gonna tie it right here. I'm gonna go through the loop like so, and then I'm going to really tie it really tight. And I'm gonna use these other ribbons as tails. So basically just dovetail them going up, and always dovetail your ribbons, because remember what I said, if I come to your house and if I see they're not dovetailed, I'm gonna ask you for a pair of scissors. All right, so I'll fluff, you know, I always like to fluff the bows at the end. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some of this eucalyptus, And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna attach into the foam, and look at that. See why you wanna have that foam there, because it really makes it easy to create all the way around. I'm gonna add one here on the top. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. It doesn't matter whether you're making a bouquet or if you are making a floral arrangement, always follow those rules. And look at that. How easy was that? You can leave it at that, but because this is Ramon at home, what we're going to do is we're gonna create a beautiful arrangement on it. I'm gonna bring some of this dogwood, and I'm gonna cut my stems right here. You know, I like to cut all the stems at once. So I want some taller ones, and what you wanna do is you wanna give them a bend, a curvature to go with the wreath form. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna attach this one right here and poke into my foam, and look how adorable is that. So now what happens on the left happens on the right. So we're going to basically do the same. We're gonna give it a curvature to meet my bouquet like this. And so now I'm gonna poke right here into my foam like this. How adorable is this? Now this third piece I'm gonna cut into smaller sections like so, and then I'm gonna poke going down. And as you guys can see, it doesn't take but a few minutes to create something really beautiful for your front door that is really going to make a statement. Make sure that this goes into your foam. If you're making this to sell, you know, I always recommend to go ahead and glue it. And so now that all of this is done, what we need to do is go back and fluff our bows, making sure that every single loop shows, and then bringing those tails and dovetailing them. I'm gonna finish dovetailing. I'll put this in the door and show you what it looks like. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, so I want to show you real quick how easy and fabulous this 3 bunny wreath turned out to be on the door. As you guys can see, the rabbits really complement the ribbons. You see that what I did, that rabbits and ribbons. And I love the little dogwood flower because it really just gives it that little oomph that this wreath needed. You could have stopped at the greenery and make the rabbits or the bunnies do all of the talk, but I really love the way the ribbons complement the little bunnies. The flowers really pop from the door, and I think it is a really cute statement on your front door. What do you think? I really love the way that wreath looks on the door. It was so easy, and as you guys can see, it really makes a statement on your door for spring. But now I'm gonna share with you how you can create a beautiful statement for your front door for spring or Easter. I think you're really gonna love it. And to create that statement on your front door, what we're going to need is 3 of these long stems from Walmart. I'm gonna need my wire cutters as well as my scissors. I'm gonna use this beautiful bunny ribbon from Walmart that has some carrots, 3 of the gigantic carrots from Hobby Lobby, and then also some 22 gauge wire. What I'm going to do is grab this Christmas garland, and I'm gonna use it as my base. But to do that, first I'm gonna have to fluff. So I'm gonna fluff this real quick, speed it up, and I'll be right back with you to give you step number 1. All right, everyone, so once your garland is all fluffed out, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and attach one side to the other side to kind of create one continuous teardrop swag. And just make sure that you give it about a 3 tie right here, one on the top, one on the bottom, and one in the middle, and that's gonna be able to hold all of our materials. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring one of my greenery stems from Walmart, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna give it a height down. So I wanna put it probably right about there, and I'm gonna grab one of my bristles, and remember to twist them right here to secure this greenery into place. This is going to be so much fun, and if you guys been following the channel, you know that I always like to have some Christmas greeneries at the ready, whether it's for fall, for Christmas, for spring, because it really is the perfect material to work for your wreaths and also other things. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do one upside down right here, and I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna secure, giving it a oh, let me cut this tag because you guys have been telling me that I've been leaving my tags on, so let me make sure that it's not there when I do the close-up. And you know, sometimes the reason why I don't take them out is because they're so hard to take. There you go. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fluff this guy right here, fluffing it like this, and I have a third one that I'm going to do. And so for this one, I'm gonna bend it in half right here, and I'm going to go maybe right about here in the middle. This is going to be my core. Remember, I'm always telling you that you attach all of your elements at the core of your swag or your wreath, like this, and just making sure that you grab some of those bristles and do this. And so now you're gonna have this greenery swag that's going to be super cute. So far, so good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a bow, and I'm gonna leave it some longer tails. Probably about this. Oh, you know what? My ribbon is upside down. So I have to go all the way to the other side of the bolt. Make sure that your ribbon, you know, during Christmas, I did a Christmas tree, the blue and white Christmas tree, and it was upside down, and it didn't bother me when I did it, but then as the days went by, it really did bother me, so I had to go back and fix the whole thing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a cute little bow. I'm gonna do a belly loop, just like how we did with the bunnies. Look how beautiful this ribbon is, you guys, from Walmart for like this was only $3.98, and it's such a cute ribbon. I love it because it really makes a statement, especially for spring and Easter. And remember, when you're making a bow, to go ahead and alternate the sizes, and then also to go up and down to shape that bow as you go. As you guys can see, you go up and down. And so now I'm gonna stop right here because that's where my ribbon stops. I'm gonna make sure that I face it down. I'm gonna grab a wire and I'm gonna go through the belly loop. Then I'm gonna pull back and very tightly, making sure that I have enough of the wire to attach to my swag. Very tightly, I'm going to open my wire like this. And now what you wanna do is you wanna go in and fluff that bow like this. Look how easy that was. All right, so now I'm going to attach this guy right here to my core, which is going to be the top of my swag. And I'm gonna take it off the stand just so that I'm able to go all the way back. Super easy, you know, making a statement on your front door shouldn't really be that big of a deal, and it shouldn't take you so long to make it, especially if you're just trying to make a statement. So now that's gonna be our bow right here. So what I wanna do is, I'm gonna make another loop right here, and that's why I like having these bristles, because look, it's going to help me to really create a few more loops and give that bow some girth when it comes down to loops. Look at that. How cute is that? So I'm gonna leave those tails right there for now, because now what I wanna do is I wanna grab some of my carrots, and what I've done, this is the one that doesn't have the wire. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a wire, and I'm gonna show you. What you need to do is go through one of these areas right here, and then you wanna pull really tight. It's made out of styrofoam, so it should be really easy. And we're gonna wire it like a Christmas ornament. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go in here, and I'm going to grab one of those bristles, and I'm gonna twist it into place. And look at that, that carrot is going to stay right there. So now I'm gonna do the same with this guy right here. I already put a wire in, and guess what? On this one, I haven't cut my string. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go cut in the strings. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this video. Be sure to share it with your friends and let them know what we're doing here, Ramon at Home, for spring and summer's coming up. We're moving on along to the summer season, and it's gonna be so much fun because we're gonna be doing some outdoor planting, some outdoor decorating, and I really hope that you'll come back for that. All right, so I have a carrot right here. So now I'm gonna go one down over on this side, and I'm gonna grab a bristle, and I'm gonna go all the way in and twist it in, putting that carrot right there, like that. And so now I'm going to grab this one, and I'm gonna put it upside down, and I'm gonna put it all the way to the bottom right here. Remember to give it a twist into one of the bristles to lock it into place, like this. And we can go in and fluff. Now I'm gonna get some florals ready, and I'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. All right, everyone, so to fill in our swag, what I'm going to need is going to be some of these really pretty lamb's ear from Walmart, and I'm gonna make sure that I separate them all at once so we can work faster. Then also what I'm gonna need is some succulent picks that I found at Shinoda Design Center, and we're gonna add all of this to fill in the spots where I feel like it needs some coverage. So basically what you're going to do, let me remove this so you can see what I'm doing. what you're going to do, first of all, get this tag off. How many of you hate tags as much as I do? What I'm going to do is I'm gonna go up right here where there's voids, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert some of these limbs here, and look how pretty that looks. Then just giving it a twist with one of the bristles on the back, it's gonna secure into place and it's not gonna go anywhere, I promise you. I'm gonna start one right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and go and add one right here on the top. You can at this point glue them if you wanted to, and look how that is really filling in the color, which is the perfect color of gray and green for this particular project right here. I'm gonna add one more right here. Just make sure that I secure on the back with it. You can glue it if you wanted to, and make sure that you dovetail your ribbons because you want it to look finished. You know, it doesn't matter what you do, one of them is always gonna be upside down, so, and we'll bring them in. All right, so I have a few more of these limbs here. Let me see, where else do I want one right here to the side. And it is so simple. Look how pretty that is. I'm gonna fluff that bow at the end. Then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these succulent picks. They have a variety of greeneries, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Just add one right here on the top. And I'm gonna add one right here to the side. That's gonna give it a more spring look. I'm gonna add a succulent right here to the middle, right here. So now I'm gonna give it a fluff, and I'll put it on the door and show you what it looks like. Stay tuned. All right, so this is statement number 2, and as you guys can see, the ribbon is so cute with the little bunnies and the carrots, and these big ginormous jute carrots really make a statement on your door. It doesn't matter how far you get, you'll be able to see those carrots for spring. I love the way this turned out, but I cannot wait to read your comments. So let me comment down below and let me know what was your favorite part. All right, so now I'm gonna show you a super simple and easy bouquet for a sit-arounder, what I like to call, and it's gonna be super quick and easy. And what I did is I'll grab a white container because it's neutral, and I just love the way a white container looks all the way around the house. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna cover some of this with my moss from my favorite local store, Walmart, because you can get the best bang for your buck. So you're gonna cover that, press it, make sure that you tuck it in so it looks kind of like this. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some of these really pretty eucalyptus, which is my favorite, also from Walmart. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add as much as possible. Remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. And basically what I wanna do is just cover the perimeter of this container and put as much eucalyptus as I can. I have a brand new one right here that I'm going to cut. And remember to cut them all at once because it will save yourself some time. I'm gonna put right here on the crown. Once I have somewhere in the crown, I'm gonna go ahead and add another stem right here and twisting around all the way around. Remember, this is something just to sit around the house. Can be on your cocktail table and can be on your side table, even in your bathroom for your guests. Just something pretty for Easter and spring. So basically what I'm doing is just covering as much as I can of that container in the perimeter. And once you have all of your eucalyptus like this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab some of these carrot picks, and what you're going to do is insert some of these carrots. What happens on the left happens on the right, and remember to give them a fluff so that way they look like they're growing from your container. Give them a twist and go ahead and insert another one right here. Give it a little twist right here and add another one over on this side all the way down. I'm gonna add one right here on the top. And once you have them all inserted, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and give them a little fluff like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab my scissors and I'm gonna give these guys a little bit of a haircut because this raffia is way too long for my taste. So basically, just grab all of the raffia right here and give them an even haircut like this. Like this one is too long. Just don't be afraid to cut your arrangements because you already paid for them. So might as well just do what you please with them to make them look even. All right, so now that you have all of your carrots inserted, what you want to do is grab some of these white flowers, any white flower that you may have laying around the house, or if you want to go out and purchase some white flour, just make sure you tuck them in all the way down to kind of cover some of the perimeter, and so the carrots look like they're growing from the flowers. Remember to tuck them all the way in and cover some of that. I love a beautiful white flower bouquet. I'm gonna add one right here on the top. And as you guys can see, adding that, I'm gonna cut this one a little bit shorter. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna just push the leaf. I'm gonna make sure that I go around and put it where I need to. Should all be up here on the crown. And as you can see, it is super cute. I love it. It's something whimsical that is just for the celebration and not something that you have to spend a lot of money on to make an impact. So now I'm gonna put it on my coffee table and show you what it looks like. Keep watching. Okay, so I just wanna show you real quick how adorable and whimsical this carrot bouquet looks like here in my living room. And I just love the fact that it really complements the furniture. It gives the room a little touch of whimsy, and it is so colorful. What do you guys think? Well, that's all I have for today, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this spring Easter DIY video. I had a blast sharing with you all of these past projects that we've done here on the channel. Be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite. And also, if you have not seen our carrot theme video for last year, I'm gonna link it somewhere on the screen and in the description box below, so you guys can continue to be inspired for spring and Easter with more DIYs. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and you can watch more videos right now. Until next time, bye.